I can just pretty much start it from wherever. So
Okay. Let's see. What do we got on the board today? It is about 3:12 in the morning right now.
indeed.
My sleep schedule's all messed up, and I haven't really I'm not really tired right now, so I'm probably gonna stay up for at least like a good 24 hours. Because I figure when we get there,
24.
I'm saying 24.
I don't know.
I'm saying 24.
To preface this, ladies and gentlemen, we are. Where are we? What city are we in?
We're in Whittier. We're in the city of Whittier.
We are in Whittier at the moment.
In an nondescript location.
Your grandma's
in a
house.
nondescript location.
We're in Saxon's grandma's house.
It's the FOB.
In the backyard. And we are recording a good bit of audio for your listening enjoyment.
I mean, you know you like to hear my voice, right? I've been told it's like liquid chocolate by a very weird kid from my film class, but I mean, I still accepted the compliment.
My boys. Pause on that. But, yeah, we gathered here today to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
To join this man and this woman in holy matrimony.
We gathered here today to join this man and woman in holy matrimony.
Oh, Lord.
Speak now or forever hold your peace. No, okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty topic of the night, or the day, I should say, because it is
technically day
in the morning.
3:14.
3:14 in the morning.
We got a full moon out right now. Don't even really need any lights.
Now, Saxon,
it's very bright out here.
First topic, right off the holster, is
I was gonna blindfold
ghost
right for it.
Story. Do you have any ghost stories?
Lord, do you know who I am? Asking me if I got.
I'm asking for the viewers.
Boy,
we're gonna dive into.
Boy, you want me to tell you some stuff? I can tell you some stuff about the house we're at right now.
Go for it.
All right.
Let the viewers know how haunted your life is.
So, if you may or may not know, this will probably give it away, like where the house is anyway. But I mean, okay, never mind. I'll just go for it. So, my grandparents' house. It is next to the largest cemetery in the world. The biggest cemetery in the world. I'm not kidding. So that's just one thing. Let's keep that in mind. But the thing is like, of course, Chad. I mean, I spent a lot of time here, of course. Okay, well, you're gonna edit that out, right?
I'm not gonna edit it out.
Oh, come on.
We're doing an uncut podcast. It's
Goodness.
fine. I don't mind.
All right, Ajax Prime. I was say Ajax. Okay. All right, Ajax. So, you know I spent a lot of time here growing up, right? It's my grandmother's house. Right?
Yes, sir.
So, when I would wake up early in the morning, when I actually used to wake up early in the morning, like 6 a.m. or something.
Didn't we all?
Because I was a kid, and I'm like, I don't need to sleep. Of course, obviously, that was before college. So I'd get up early, and I would know for a fact no one else was awake. Because I'd be like checking every room, trying to find someone to talk to. Because I wasn't tall enough, so I was trying to find someone to like go into the kitchen and like get me something from the fridge because I couldn't reach it. And everyone was asleep. Nobody.
Around what age was this?
This was around like, Lord, I was like, it happened multiple times though. So it happened when I was like.
Well, this specific story that you're about to say.
This specific story probably when I was around 5.
Okay.
And
we Saxon at 5 years old.
And yeah, and I would be standing at the stairs, and I would hear the chairs being pulled out of the table and like scraped against the floor. Like, you know that scrape you hear against tile?
Oh, yeah.
I'd be hearing that, and I know for a fact there was no one downstairs. No burglars. Nothing was broken in. Like, really nothing at all.
You need to tell your New Orleans haunted ghost stories. Those are...
I'll get to those later.
Those are bangers.
I'll get to those later. But, the one ghost story? The one, good
Go
Lord.
for it.
This is something that I've always remembered. I was like maybe 2 or 3, and I was at my house. I was sitting there with my dad. This was when we used to live in an apartment before we moved into our house, before we moved out to Chino. So this was in Rolling Heights. And we were in our apartment. It was like a Saturday or something. Saturday or Sunday. And we're sitting there watching TV.
Your life is passing you by.
I keep procrastinating over and over. Like, maybe okay, all right. We got to get...
By the way, not sponsored by Everest College.
No, they're not even in business anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
What happened?
Because remember, like, first it was called Bryman College. Then it became it was
Yeah,
like
that's like
old,
10
like
different
way
names.
back.
Didn't
It
it
was
have
called
like a bunch of
Bryman.
different names?
Then they're like, oh, Bryman is now Everest, and then now like, because like remember when they're talking about Maranello and how all those got shut down?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the same thing happened with Everest.
Well,
and they're not in
to
business
preference, explain it
anymore.
for
What?
people who don't know.
Oh, Maranello, it was like a trade school. I guess Everest was kind of like.
No, I mean like what happened, like why they got shut down.
Oh, I don't know. I guess just the funding ran out or something. I don't know what happened. I just know they got shut down.
Okay.
But anyway, we were way off subject.
Well,
because so I was sitting down. How's my life passing me by at 3 years old? First
it
off,
wasn't it?
my life. Okay.
How much of that time do you remember?
Sure, because I'm at
Exactly.
3 years
Passed you
old.
by.
Because I'm at 3 years old, saying, "Oh, I got to do something with my life."
Exactly.
Okay.
If
All
you're,
right.
ladies and gentlemen, if you're 3 years old right now listening to this podcast, then
Yeah, I don't
you need
know if
to
there's
get
any-
on with your life.
Oh, good lord. Okay. So
Here we are shouting at toddlers, dude.
so I was sitting down, and my dad was watching TV.
And his
And-
life was passing.
would you
Okay,
please?
go ahead.
I'm trying to say this. This was an important time.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
And I'll explain more of the significance later. But yeah, so I was we were watching TV, and I see this figure, walk from my room, because like the way it was set up, it was like it was like the living room was right in front of you, so you're just sitting there, and then there was the kids' door, like where my sister, and because we shared a room, my sister and my room was on the right, and my parents' room was on the left.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw something walk from my from my room across across the living room or the family room where we were sitting, and it went into my parents' room, and I saw it. And as it walked, it disappeared. But this was the crazy thing: as it walked, like and the way it's so hard to describe it because it's like a person that you could see through. Like if have you seen Predator?
Yeah.
When Predator goes invisible,
Oh, it's kind of like
you could still see the outline.
yeah.
And you can make
It's-
out some features, but it's
Yeah.
still translucent. Yeah, like it looks like a person, but it's translucent. That's exactly how it was. And the craziest part was like it walked right, and as it's walking, and like I didn't really make out feet, like it was really nondescript, but I could tell it was like in the motion of walking. So it walked. It casually like turned its head to look at us. It saw that I was looking at it, and it stopped in the middle of the TV, like for a split second, and we were staring at each other, dead, like eye to eye,
What the hell, dude?
Yeah.
That spooks.
dead eye to
That's
eye.
spooked, dude.
And
That's,
it- and-
what
and-
the heck? Dude, and you're like 3 years old?
Yeah, and
I
I'm
would have screamed.
well because that's the thing, right?
Well, when you're like 3 years old,
yeah, but
when-
yeah,
dude, when you're like 3 years old and a Lego drops behind you, you start crying because you don't know what it is.
you were see when you were.
No,
three.
I didn't say that
I'm
was
kidding.
me.
I'm
I
kidding.
don't
I'm kidding.
don't get me wrong. That
kidding.
wasn't a personal story, boys.
I'm kidding. No, I'm just saying that I'm a really curious person, right? So like I always. Oh. It's just like I was always a curious person, right? So, like things things at that age, like especially for me, didn't necessarily scare me, but they interested me. And things like with ghosts, like that's something I've been dealing with my entire life anyway. So that's why I think it's so funny when people come up saying, "Oh, I don't believe in ghosts." I think, "Oh, well, it must have been nice to have had that option," because like I just
Well,
ever
and-
since I remember things I've known just what things are.
Well,
So like that happened to me, right? And
well,
then
you gotta understand. I mean, because it's pretty easy not to, like, because I'm one of those people where it's like, okay, there's an explanation for it.
Yeah.
Everything.
no
like-
matter what that explanation may be, there's an explanation.
Like you experiencing that at 3 years old, like you don't know what you're looking at. Like you like,
Oh, see, that's the thing.
but that's
Well,
okay.
like
But understand that
Yeah.
that's how I think of it. Like
Yeah.
I don't think of it. Oh, it's got to be paranormal.
Yeah.
Like I don't think of it that way. I'm like, okay, that's easily explained.
Well, yeah,
by-
but I mean, I couldn't explain that.
Well,
Not
yeah.
conventionally, at least. And that's what was interesting about it, because I knew that it shouldn't have been there, yet at the same time, instead of scaring me, it interested me more. So I'm like,
At
okay.
3 years old, you were interested in something?
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm going to observe it. If it's there, it's not supposed to be there. It's something different I've never seen before. I'm going to stare at it. And I'm going to see what it does. So so at this point, it walks. It casually looks at us. It sees that I'm looking
Did your
at it.
dad remember this?
He never saw it. He remembers the day it happened when I told him about it, but he never actually saw it. So it's standing in front of the TV, staring at me, and I'm staring at it. Like, what? Like, what are you looking at me for? Like, what are you? And we're staring at each other, like, eye to eye. And it just slowly turns its head, walks off, and disappears. Like, I see it just not be there anymore.
Oh.
And, like, I remember looking at it, and in my peripheral vision...
Excuse the train horns, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
There's periodic train horns. I hope it picks up our voices over the trains.
Yep. Oh,
okay,
gosh. Yeah, so... And I remember, as I'm staring at it... As I'm staring... like, oh, my gosh. Okay. As I'm staring at it, I can see in my peripheral vision the television through it, and the television is distorted.
In that spot?
In the spot where it is, yeah. Like, it's just... I just see it's distorted. Then it walks off and disappears. I asked my dad, I said, Dad, what was that? He said, what was what? I said, what was that thing that just walked from my room?
Wait, at 3 years old, you were telling your dad what was that?
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
No, I'm not doubting you.
I was asking.
And don't take it out of context, ladies and gentlemen. I'm asking context questions to provide more detail.
Well, I mean, I started talking when I was 2.
Well, I'm not doubting that you said that.
I know. I'm just saying.
I'm trying to get you to add more detail.
Clarifying, yeah. So, So I asked him, I said, what was that just walked from my room to your room? And he says, well, I didn't see anything. So I told him the whole thing. And I saw him getting chills about it. And we'd always gotten weird feelings, like, in that apartment. And, like, it would be weird. There'd be, like, weird smells. Like, that would just come out of nowhere. Like, and just come suddenly, too, and just disappear randomly. Like,
and how would it be a weird smell? Like, it's not conventional?
It would smell... I don't know, it would smell like... It would smell like you... Like, you know how when you walk into someone's house? And it doesn't smell bad. It doesn't smell any kind of... It just smells different.
It doesn't smell like your house.
Yeah, it wouldn't...
It smells like you're in somebody else's house.
Yeah, and I know that sounds so weird, but that's the best way I could describe it.
Even if people don't say it, that's what happens. You go into someone else's house, it smells different. Yeah. It's not your house. And
that's just what was weird. And, like, I always felt like I was being watched. I was crazy. So that was that one experience. How's it? Is it good?
Yeah. No, go ahead. I'm just trying to make sure my phone's actually charging.
Yeah. So it was just that was probably the most intense experience I ever had. In the house I'm at now in Chino, a lot of times I hear things call my name. Like
the hell?
Yeah, they'll call my name. Let's see, because they called my name once. Like, I heard it clear as day. It sounded like my mother. And my mom was there, and it was just the two of us. I walked in and asked her, I said, what? Well, what'd you want? And she said, I didn't call you. I said, you just yelled my name. What is it? Like, is it? And I went there fast, because I was like, she yelled it, and that's what I heard. So I was like, I thought something was wrong. That's why I went running in there, saying, what's going on? You just called me. She said, I didn't call you. So I'm like, oh, all right then.
Yeah, that's weird.
I walked back. And
obviously, because I didn't experience it myself, there's no explanation, you know what I mean? Like, I can't explain that for you.
Like, I've heard my dad. I've heard what sounded like my dad call my name a few times. And it kind of sounds like when someone calls your name, but they're, like, really tired. And it's kind of like...
How do you mean? Like, demonstrate.
I'm trying to think. It's like... It's kind of like they're gasping while they're saying my name.
Like they're mad?
No, not that they're mad. It's just like they're really tired. Like, if you're just really drowsy and you're kind of just like, oh yeah, whatever. Like, just like saying your words but not really emphasizing. Kind of just like
yeah. I get what you mean.
And that's why I don't know. It's just weird. And I wonder, right? Because this isn't it's not like I'm the only one of my family experiences this. My uncles, you guys, nearly every member of my family have all had some kind of paranormal experience. And it's just odd. It's like, just why? Why is it only certain people who experience things and certain people who go through their lives never experiencing anything?
Well, I mean, there's
That's why I think it's just interesting to me.
it's weird to say, but it's like I just feel like there's an explanation for that kind of stuff. Like there's some sort of explanation. Like if I would have experienced it, I could have been like, oh yeah, like this is what happened.
But like,
but obviously I didn't, so it's like I can't.
No, but I just think it's if it's an explanation, it is.
I mean, because I'm not saying that you're gullible, but like it's easier for you to say it's something superstitious or paranormal because you guys have a history of saying stuff that's paranormal.
Stuff like that.
I'm not discrediting it.
I know. It's just stuff like just what happened. Like how can that be explained rationally?
I mean, that's happened to me before because I just have bad hearing, and like something will come out on the TV and it'll sound like someone says my name, but I'm like, okay, well that's just the TV, but it'll sound like it's like my mom saying it, and I'll be like, oh, what do you want? And she's like, I didn't say anything. I'm like, oh.
How often does that happen?
A good bit, not a lot, not like frequently. But
like I've heard my name like yelled when
I've heard
I'm like. Well, when it's
well,
yelled,
I
and
think,
there's like
I think I hear it,
there's
but
nothing on.
But it's just something else.
All right. That's what I think is crazy when people like start doing like seances and stuff to conjure stuff up.
That's
like,
just stupid.
Like it's insane.
That's just asking for.
It's crazy.
That's literally asking for the devil.
Because I always tell them it's like I always tell people it's like if you go out looking for that stuff, you're gonna find it, and you're gonna wish you never opened that door.
Don't hit the table.
Am I hitting the table?
Yeah.
All right.
I know it's just gonna pick up on the mic.
Oh gosh, I've been doing that a lot. No, I'm just saying, like it's just crazy. Because it's like definitely would at least just from what I saw, I just don't see how that could have been anything other. Like I'm not saying I know what it was, but that's the problem. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
That's the very issue itself.
That's understandable.
It's just crazy. That's why I just think it's almost kind of like, I don't know, like when people say, oh, I never believed it because I never experienced it. It's like, okay, well, what does that mean, frankly? I've never been to China. I know China exists, though. I was like,
well, I mean, like, that's different. It's kind of like...
No, it's just like if you haven't experienced it, who are you to say it doesn't exist?
Well, like, they're obviously not using that in every instance. But yeah, they're just saying that in that instance. Like, it's never happened to them, so they have no reason to be like, oh, yeah, like, this happened.
Like, I understand, too, if you want to dismiss it, but to outright say that it doesn't happen and is never... Because I'm not saying... Of course, I'm not saying that, too. I'm just saying... No, I've heard people say, like, oh, well, like, there's always been... like an explanation like for every single event. Like, okay, I understand maybe to dismiss it, but I'm not gonna, like, I wouldn't say completely that definitively there's nothing supernatural, you know? Like, yeah, so basically that's it. And that was just one story, really.
You want to move on to the next topic?
Alright, yeah, that was...
Well, it's up to you. I mean, you got the ghost stories.
No, it's just you telling me me reciting that story.
Oh.
Gave me some flashbacks. All right. Lord of mercy. Okay.
All right.
You want to move on?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on to our next topic, and that is funny elementary school stories.
Oh, good Lord.
Because everybody knows, everybody has funny elementary school stories. Now, contrary to popular belief, me and Vincent did not go to the same elementary school.
I wish we would have owned that place. Oh my gosh, man.
It would be ridiculous.
Lord have mercy.
But I went to a little elementary school in Chino, and Vincent, you went to...
Saxon?
Saxon, you went to... This is a podcast. Podcasts are different. This isn't kayfabe.
Hey, take
the podcasts are outside kayfabe. If you
don't
stop.
Boy.
Okay. You went to elementary school where?
In Pico Rivera.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh Lord.
All right.
Oh Pico. Oh,
this is a doozy.
Okay. Okay. First, let me tell you about the sand.
Hold on.
You're going.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I started off.
Come on.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I gave you a whole segment.
Okay, I just
My
said,
boy, so I'm sorry.
Oh, well, this is different because between
shake my hand.
you and me, I've got ghost stories, but both of us have elementary school
Yeah,
stories.
shake my hand.
Okay,
We're shaking hands, ladies and
we're,
gentlemen.
we're cool. We're cool. Everything's fine.
Okay.
There's no rift in Red Dog Radio.
Red Dog Radio splitting up.
Creative
First
differences.
bags, now now saying so.
Poor
All right,
bags.
so
They found him dead in an empty swimming pool out in the Midwest somewhere. It was a shame. No, he just Okay, moving on.
moving on. We're not gonna talk about that. This one is a doozy. This is a big story, and it's gonna sound like I'm lying, but you can ask. Obviously I'm not gonna name drop people because I don't want you guys to harass people. But this actually happened. Well, I'll say like the first names, but I'm not gonna say the full name.
All right.
Okay. So in 6th grade, most elementary schools, our school, you go like if you had pretty much if you had good grades, you went to science camp, and pretty much, you went to science camp and then you went to Skate Express, and that was like all like within a week. So like during that week, all like the flunkies would just kind of hang around school because you still have to go to school if you were in 6th grade. I was one of those kids because I didn't care to do anything because good old George W. Bush was looking out for me with that No Child Left Behind. So I was like, hey.
And I feel like there's some kids who should have been left behind. I'm just saying.
But so as you can expect, with all the flunkies at the same time and just pretty much ruling the campus, like nothing good can come from that. So we go to lunch, and this is where the chain of events starts. All of us would go into the bathroom, and then I'm sure people remember this going.
Where's this going?
Would you relax?
I'm sorry.
We go into the bathroom, and then most people know what going bodies is, like where you just punch the other person in the body for X amount of seconds, and then whoever takes the more punishment wins, I guess, or it's just for shits and giggles, basically. And
it's basically just boxing, except you hit just the body, right?
Yeah, basically. And whoever had beef just went at it. But Nathan and Juan had beef.
Oh yeah.
And they they had the best, like top tier fighting going bodies. Like they're like, all right,
should we do this in the garage?
In the garage?
Yeah.
Why?
No, I'm just thinking maybe we could be a little louder.
Oh no, this is fine.
Okay.
But top tier bodies, top tier going bodies, man. I mean, so to describe what happened, Juan is like ready to go, and
I just want to say, to my understanding, neither one of them knew how to fight properly. Correct?
Oh no.
Yeah. Okay.
They're both god awful, and I'm gonna explain what happened. So they're like, all right, you guys have 30 seconds, go. And Juan immediately just pushes Nathan up against the wall and like kind of like basically shooting for a takedown. And it's like,
it's a body,
bitch, if you don't stop, like,
or was the ref?
Like that's not the object. Like you're not supposed to take him down. You're supposed to just hit him. And Nathan, in response, is just wailing at his body. And so, like, Juan's, like, bent over to spear Nathan against the wall. Nathan is just wailing, just going to town. But he didn't know how to throw punches. So he's just like flailing his arms.
Like throwing his fists.
Like he's just throwing his arms like noodles. Just boom, boom,
kind
boom,
of like how apes do it. They just slam
their arms down. Just basically. And they're just hitting him. And not doing any damage. Like, neither of them were doing damage. Like, Juan, when he had him speared, he was just, like, doing body shots. And it's like, dude, you couldn't do anything. Oh, my God. That was terrible. But everybody was hyping it up to make it big. Man. So, like, they thought they were like, oh, dude, we're the shit, dude. So, Me and Nathan had beef. So
Oh,
after
what? I didn't know. I never heard this part.
after me and Nathan go bodies, and then Nathan just does. Oh, I mean, Nathan, you already know. If you're listening to this, you already know. So I don't even want to hear it. I don't want you to come to me, be like, "Oh, it's not true," because it's true. It's damn true. Okay. So like, all right, guys,
You're gonna
30
get that
seconds.
call.
Huh?
You're gonna get that call.
I don't give a damn if I get the call. I'm gonna be like, it's the damn truth.
You already know who from too.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
God damn. So like, all right, 30 seconds. Go ahead. And I'm just taking shots. I mean, 6th grade, so I'm not like a professional striker, but I'm not just flailing my arms back and forth. Like, I like to pretend I knew how to fight, so I was just throwing like these sloppy jabs to the center, but I was still connecting.
That's a heck of a lot better than just flailing your arm.
But
Nah, sounds probably some rabbits.
we're about to get killed by Freddy Krueger. But I'm taking these sloppy. I'm giving out sloppy jabs to Nathan, like right in the gut, and then he's just flailing his arms, and then everyone's just hyping it up, and I'm like, it's not that serious. Like in my head, I'm like don't buy into the hype. It's not that hype.
Oh man.
So everybody's hyped.
How many people were in this bathroom at this point?
Good 20, 25.
Yeah, I figure that'll start attracting like some supervisors.
See, now that's what I'm getting to.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So after we go bodies, I go outside. I don't remember what his name was, but I go outside with another kid.
It was Mario, wasn't it?
No, he was in the bathroom directing traffic.
Yeah, trying to keeping it. It's like the bouncer.
Well, he's just like, all right, you guys go bodies, like whatever.
Yeah.
But I go outside with this other kid, and we're just talking to like the supervisor, and the supervisor's like, "Hey, what's going on in there?" And then I was just like, "Oh, like we're doing like a shuffle battle. Like this is 2008. Okay?
Yeah, you could tell.
This is fucking 2008. So we're like, I was like, like they're doing a shuffle battle in the bathroom. Like, and she's like, all right, as long as you guys aren't like doing anything crazy. Like, oh no, we're just doing shuffle battle. Like it's just having a good time. And then like the kid I was with started shuffling to cover up for it, to distract from the kids fighting in the bathroom. But so we go back into the bathroom after the supervisor goes away. The supervisor's like, okay, whatever. They're just dumb kids having a good time. So everybody's in the bathroom, and we're just hyped. And like there was a group of kids who would like pretend play, and we're like, hey, let's just go over there and fuck them up.
Yo,
I'm like, no shit.
All right, what do you mean pretend play?
Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, you know when you're like way younger, like 3rd grade, and you're just like oh, like let's pretend, like that kind of thing.
Oh, so they were nerds, basically.
Essentially.
But
I'm not gonna name drop them for their sake because it's not cool.
Nerds.
But we're like, okay, we're gonna go fuck these dudes up. Like we're just gonna go in and we're gonna jump them.
All right.
So
you guys are some thugs,
dude. That's why I said. That's why I said. Like we came out of that bathroom and we're just hyped. Yeah. Like, we're just like, yeah, like let's keep fighting. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
And if you to get a mental picture, if you were just sitting like at the lunch tables, and you just see like 20 6th grade boys just charging out of the bathroom and going over to like the field. Like we had like a universal field that had like volleyball courts in it, and like these 2 big trees, and that's where those kids would play at. And we just charged over there and just started like we didn't really beat them down because
like pushing them around.
Yeah, we were just kind of like pushing them around because no one was actually gonna go beat them down, but we're just like pushing them around, like get out of here, because that's where they would like go and like play pretend. And we're just like, get out of here. Like, what are you doing? You're in 6th grade. Like, you're supposed to be mature. And yeah, we're hella mature.
Yeah, those kids
going into the bathroom doing bodies.
Those kids used to walk around like collecting rocks and stuff.
Oh,
Like those kids were
yeah.
weird too.
But that was terrible within itself, and the supervisors did nothing. Like, nothing came from that. Because are you going to write a playground ticket to 20 kids?
Yeah,
Like,
for every single one. Yeah.
but, that was great. That was hilarious. That's a moment I'll never forget. It's a day I'll never forget, honestly.
Dang, man.
All right.
All right.
Now you can go ahead with your...
Oh, goodness. Elementary school stories. Boy, did I have some times at that ghetto elementary school. But the thing was, I didn't even realize it was like so shoddy until like I was like in high school and I realized, oh wait, all elementary schools weren't like that. So I'm like, oh okay. I swear we're on lockdown. We're on lockdown almost like every other day because there was always
he was in a terrible neighborhood.
Because there was someone always like somebody on campus. And there was always rumors like, "Oh, a teacher's gonna get shot today." So I'm like, "Oh, okay." Well, I'm trying to finish a little story I'm writing, so like that's how it'd be because it's like we just didn't care. But one of the times I want to talk about is the sand bees, because like what we used to do, we used to go in the sandbox. We used to play in the sandbox, and this was like fourth grade, right? So like, oh, okay, it's cool. We're hanging out in there, and we actually used to build some pretty cool things in there, like in the sandbox. But then one time, like a bunch of sand bees, like those white jacket like sand bees.
Yeah.
They infested our sandbox. So we're like, okay. I mean, the school's not doing anything about it. It was like for a week we couldn't be in the sandbox. So finally, I pulled together my friends. I'm like, all right, that's our sandbox. We're gonna do something about these bees. And they put up like this little fence, right? Like this little caution tape, so you can go over there. So like, oh, all right. And like the way it was like the sandbox was kind of off in its own like little corner, like separate from the rest of the playground.
Okay.
And it was like almost blocked by like a building, so it was almost like on the other side of the building. So like, all right, so we're going over there, and they were like yelling at people, like yelling at kids, like to try to stay away. Anytime a kid even got close, and like one of my friends was scouting it out. He's like, man, like they got a supervisor over there. Like, what we gotta really like if we're gonna move on this, we're gonna move on this fast. So like, all right, we gotta plan it out. So it was like maybe a Friday.
Oh,
and then it was
everything happens on a Friday.
Well, no, it was like a Friday. We did it on a Monday, but Friday was when we started like the recon.
Oh, okay.
Like just that whole like the recess. Cause like you had your first recess, then you had lunch recess. Yeah, it's like in the first recess from the last recess.
We only had that
like scouting it out.
We only had that until like third grade. Once you got into fourth grade, it was just the lunch.
Oh, that sucks. All right.
Like they took it away, and then once you get into like sixth grade, they started like, oh, we're gonna prepare you for junior high, and then like you would move like fucking next door to go do math, and it's just like, oh wow, this is such a hard change.
I know. It's like, man, it's like really gonna prepare me for walking across the whole campus.
Yeah, walking across the entire campus 6 times in a day.
Yeah, good lord, I keep saying that just over and over again.
No, that's fine.
So all right, so it was like Friday. I'm like,
I'll put up a little. I'll try to put up a little counter for you.
Gosh. All
So
right.
yeah.
So yeah, and all right, you gotta count those. Right. It's gonna be a bunch of those. See, now I'm consciously not trying to say it.
Okay. It's gonna hinder you more. All right. You were doing recon.
Yeah, we're doing recon. Thank you, Joe. We were doing recon, and it was like a Friday. So my friend Diego lived like next door to the school. She was like, all right, man, Monday we're gonna roll on this. All right. I said, okay, cool. They said, Friday I'm gonna come by, or over the weekend I'm gonna come by. I'm gonna leave like some bee poison. I'm gonna hide it in like a trash can or something. So I'm like, all right, cool. So
at the school?
Yeah.
How did you manage that?
Oh, we hit it because it was okay. Those
no.
Trash
How did you get on the school on a weekend?
He lived next door to it. He just hopped the fence.
Oh,
the fence.
Oh, you gave it to him.
Yeah,
I thought you stopped it by the school.
No, I didn't. Good lord. No, he lived right by the school, so he just hopped the fence and like stashed it.
So you gave him bee poison to stash it on the.
He had bee poison. I didn't ask where he got it from. That was the point. I told him. I said, "Man, no questions asked. You just get us some bee poison." She was like, "All right, cool," and he came back with it. He got delivered.
Oh my god.
So I'm like, "All right, cool." So, so he got it and he stashed it, and we went like it was like Monday the next day. So we're rolling in there. We already know what to do. Like his my friend Marky, his dad was a gardener, and you know how gardeners have like those masks that like cover their face. He got some of those. So he got like 4 of them for each of us. So like, all right, cool, because we don't want to breathe this stuff in. You breathe the bee poison in, it'll knock you out. So like, all right. So we have them like stashed in our pockets, and we're like walking out. I swear, it was like we were planning some kind of heist or something.
Yeah, that's what it sounds
just
like.
the way
It
it was
sounds like
going
you guys
down.
were to rob a
So
bank.
we had the masks in our pockets, and we're like, all right, at this time we're all gonna finish our lunch. So we were walking in the lunchroom. We each sit at a different table. So like as soon as like the clock hits, I think it was like 12 or something. As soon as it hit it, we all got up, like threw our stuff in the trash, and then walked out. So we're walking out. I'm like, all right, one of us is gonna have to distract the supervisor. So 2 of our friends were playing basketball, right? So like, hey, you guys need to start screaming or something, or like say someone's hurt or something, so you can distract the supervisor. So like, all right, so they do it, whatever. They do whatever, cause like I'm not even over there at this point. I'm like standing behind a tree, like watching the supervisor, and she hears the commotion. I think they were staging a fight or something, or they said like one of them hurt himself or he fell. So she ran over there, and she's like tending to him. We look at each other. We're like, boom. We bolted for the sandbox, right? And we're like, we're booking it. So we run over there. We throw on our masks. We grab the poison. Just start dumping it like all over the sandbox, like mixing it in. Because like when you put the poison on there, of course the sand's gonna look wet.
Yeah.
So you gotta like mix it up a little bit. So we did that finally, and everyone's screaming. I don't know what happened, but stuff was like going down over there on the other side where they were distracting the supervisor.
Maybe something actually happened.
So we're like, all right. So we ran out of there, and then the principal was coming over toward us. I'm like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? She's about to catch us. What's gonna happen? And so one of our friends ran up to her and started talking to her about something. And she's like, oh yeah, well, blah, 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 whatever. And he distracted us. I'm like, oh my god, he just saved us. And we went running out.
God,
and like, we went running out on the side. And then right as we passed by a trash can, we're like, we think we're cool, right? We think we're home free. So I'm like, all right, nice. And I realized I still had my mask around my neck. I'm like, oh god. So like, I take mine off. They all take theirs off. We chuck them in the trash can. And then, I mean, that was it. Recess ended. We went back to our class, and then there were no more bees.
Oh my lord.
The school wasn't doing anything about those bees.
No kidding.
Like, I swear, they weren't doing a thing.
It's just sand bees. I don't know why they're so concerned about sand bees. It must have been a pretty bad infestation. If it was...
I guess so. And like the thing was, is that they had some. That's not the first time they had infestations at that school. They had to tear down 2 buildings because of quote unquote fleas, which I think they were rats because I saw rats. But they said, oh, just tell your parents it's fleas. I'm like, oh, okay.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and I'm sitting there like, I don't think they should be doing this, but whatever. Yeah, so it was rats that they tore down those 2 buildings. And in my second grade, when I was in second grade, they're like, oh, let's all have class in the library. So we moved our whole second grade class to the library because our building got freaking torched because of the rats. Oh my god!
Let's have class in the library.
And then
it's okay.
Yeah, and they're acting like, oh yeah, we chose to do this. Like, yeah, no, you didn't. You're just trying to cover something up. And all right, so that was that. That was the fleas. And there was this one time where there was like this really, really strong wind blowing. Like, it was insane. It was like turning trees over and stuff. And it was like throwing up all the leaves. And then like it was kicking up so much dirt because like there was like another playground, and that playground was just all dirt because like all the grass had died on it. So there's just a bunch of dirt and dust swirling around the school. So like you really couldn't see a lot. So the bell rang, and the teachers were all inside, and I was asking my friend Mark. And that was my best friend. I knew him since kindergarten. I was asking my friend Mark. I was like, dude, why aren't there any teachers out here? He's like, oh, they're staying inside. They're not going to come out here. So I'm like,
so they sent you guys out.
No, we were out already. We were out already because it was recess. And all the teachers were inside. Of course, you know when it's recess. It was just like the supervisors, but they just walked away. So I'm like, really? Like, really? They just left us out here while there's like a dust storm? So I'm like, all right, well, this is some crap. So like, I grabbed my friend Mark. I'm like, all right, man. I was like, I'm going to lead some kind of exodus out of here. I told him, because I was wearing a belt, I said, grab the back of my belt. Have someone else grab the back of your belt. We're doing like a chain so we can get out of here. So we're like walking through. and I'm like leading the pack, like just, and then we all have like our heads down, we're like hunched over as we're like walking through the wind because it's blowing up so much dust, and there's like rocks flying, hitting me in the face. And I'm like, I gotta keep going, like I gotta find it. So we're like going. We finally found our room after like feeling around for a little while. Then we open it up. It's just dust all over us. And the teacher's just sitting in there acting like nothing happened. I'm like, where were you? He's like, oh, I wasn't going to go outside. So I'm like, really?
Just fuck you mean?
Oh there was all kinds of mess going on at that school. There were gangs. I mean, there were gangs of kids, of course, when they were trying to have gangs. The funniest thing, oh my god. I was laughing so much because there was like two apparent rival gangs at the elementary school. And they're like, oh yeah, dude, 3 o'clock by the painting of the Virgin Mary, we're going to fight.
The painting of the Virgin Mary. That has to be the most legendary thing. Like back in Ramona, just by the bike rack, dog.
Yeah.
Or
because I mean, it was like a heavily Mexican-dominated school, so they had a painting of the Virgin Mary. So and they're like, dude,
like, all right, look, we got
like 3 o'clock. By the painting of the Virgin Mary, we're gonna fight.
Like, look, we got a bunch of Mexican kids here, so let's just get a painting of the Virgin Mary hanging up somewhere. No logic.
Dude, it was hilarious though. It's like, and I'm pretty sure they did fight, but it was a kid fight, so all they did was like push each other. I like maybe throw some rocks, but that was it. Oh gosh.
Alright, so
crap that happened at that school.
We're gonna begin to wrap it up with our third and final topic.
High school stories?
No.
Should we say that?
That'll be another episode.
Alright.
Our third and final topic is always gonna be a segment called Shooting the Shit, which is basically a segment where we talk about what we want to talk about, basically. Like, if we want to talk about something that's, like, going on, like, currently, then we'll go ahead and talk about it. So, I'll allow Vincent to go first. So, literally anything.
Oh. See, when you give me this freedom, now I have no idea what to say.
Well, just, like, more of, like, current events or stuff that's happened recently.
Oh, man. I'm trying to think. I don't like gun control, but I don't know if I want to harp on that because there's so many issues. I think that problem with gun control, immigration,
expand
politics in general. I was just thinking about immigration. Like, a lot of people would say, like, this is just personally what I've heard. A lot of people think is just like, oh, if you don't like immigration, you're racist. It's like you're racist toward Mexicans specifically. It's like, why? Like, I'm not against Mexicans. I am Mexican. Like, or not against Hispanics because I'm Hispanic. It's like it's against all legal immigration. Like that's not something that's good for the economy at all. So, but I think the problem is that you really need to attack like a lot of these businesses that cater to illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
That are like, oh, hey, if you come over here, we'll employ you. We won't ask questions about your citizenship.
It's just
like they advertise to them.
The problem is that people are like, oh, like they take the jobs that you don't want, and it's like, what? No.
Yeah.
Like it's not that I don't want the job. It's not that I'm not gonna take like $5 an hour to do a hard labor job that should get paid more.
Yeah.
But when these illegal immigrants are coming over here and they're just like, oh, well, you're paying this guy $10 an hour to do it, I'll do it for $3. And it's like, well, because they don't need the money.
Yeah.
That's just extra money.
Well, I mean, the money goes a lot further in the country they come from.
Yeah, the money goes a lot further for them. Whereas this is money that's paying my bills. Like,
and then you think also, that's not good for us. It's not good for them either. Like, I don't, and like the thing is, that was the whole thing with NAFTA too. Like, that was the big problem I had with NAFTA. Like, all these companies can now just pick up and leave to Mexico for cheaper prices. It's like, that's not good for us, because obviously it takes away jobs from Americans, but that's not good for the people of the countries they move into either. Because now those people could be subjected, like, under even worse working conditions. And it's like it doesn't seem like it's good for anybody.
It doesn't help anybody. It just helps the business owner make more money that they're not going to spend in country.
See, that's why I like, and I mean, don't hang me for this, but I actually like something that Donald Trump said. What Josh, that's
Dude.
insane. Oh, I just spoke blasphemy.
You
All right,
just-
I'm sorry.
Our channel is shut down. All right, boys, we're gonna end the podcast here.
But like,
I'll see
one
you.
thing,
We'll see you guys next week.
Josh, no, okay. Just one of the things he said. He stood up to those Ford executives, and he told them, he said, if you pick up your plants and move them to Mexico and try to sell your cars here in America, I'll put a 35% tariff on them, and no one is going to buy them. So I thought about that. I thought no one had ever really done that before. Stood up to those multi-million-dollar companies and said, hey, keep your business American, or, just like, basically just,
Or no one's gonna buy
we're
your
going to put a
cars.
penalty on it, yeah. So I thought that was something that was really interesting. I thought, man, of course Trump won't be the most polished guy, and believe me, it wasn't my first choice for president, but goodness, I mean, that impresses me, and that's something that always stuck with me. So,
yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say about that. I mean, it's just not good. It's not good that they have to come over here and be like, yo, I'll undercut you.
yeah, and even then, it's like
it's not good for them, and it's not good for us.
People would ask, oh, what do you mean by they? Like, I mean all illegal immigrants.
Yeah,
not a certain race or
that's
anything.
why I'm not. If it was a certain race, I would say a certain race.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not a certain race. It's literally illegal immigrants.
Yeah, so that's why I get so mad when people think it's anti-Hispanic. I'm like,
yeah,
no,
it has
I mean,
nothing to do with
off,
Hispanics.
First
it has
off,
nothing to do with just being Hispanic. Like, it's not just, oh, you're Hispanic, so I'm against you. I want you to get deported. Like, no.
Yeah.
If you're illegal, stay here. Spend your money in America. That's all I want you to do.
It's like if you
don't outsource to spend it on America. If you invest in America, America invests in you.
I think that if you're here illegally, try to become a citizen. I would think try to become a citizen already, because I really respect the people who come here from another country, do citizenship, go through the whole process, and become a citizen. Stop paying into the system, because that is
about
a
95% of natural born Americans can't pass that test.
Yeah, and that's something that is, because that's a heck of a lot of effort to come here and try really want to try and better your life. And I really respect that.
And that's the point why it's so difficult, because you're becoming a U.S. citizen.
Yeah,
and that's why us Americans, we need to realize that we have a serious privilege being born here.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many people that would love to be here, but they have to study for this, that actually difficult test.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if you know your stuff, it's still not easy.
It's still challenging, yeah. And then it's because it's like all right, but if you can't get here legally, that doesn't give you the right to come here illegally. Like, it just doesn't. Plain and simple, just like that. But if you come here, just pay into the system, and then just really try to become a citizen, I respect that. And that should be allowed. Everyone should be given the opportunity to come here. The people who just come here illegally,
yeah, if you just
try to make a living, I may understand.
If you just come to California and use it as a sanctuary state, and you just sit here and do nothing.
Like, who does that help?
That doesn't help
anything.
It doesn't help you, because you guys are gonna get deported because Donald J. Trump's in office. He's gonna find you. But it's not gonna help you, and it's not gonna help the state. You're not helping the sanctuary state by just living here and living under someone else's roof.
Mm-hmm.
But just for saying that, we're going to be called racist.
Probably. I'll bet there'll be a few.
And that brings me to my topic that I want to talk about, and that's arguing politically. Oh my God. Well, just arguing in general. Like, so many people don't know how to argue. Like, you can argue with literally anybody, and I don't have, I'm not going to hate you. Like, there's no reason why I should come out of the argument and just be like, oh, you're terrible. Unless you have,
some fireworks.
I don't know. Unless you're like, oh, yeah, I advocate for sexual predators or child predators. Like, then you're just a shit person and you deserve to die.
Child predators have rights too.
Yeah, that's fucking ridiculous. But, if it's just if we're arguing over immigration, I am completely down to hear your perspective and talk to you. But if you just come into the argument and just oh, you're a racist. Oh, wow, good one, man. No, I'm not. and it doesn't matter what race I am. Like it's not like, and that's another
And
thing.
just based
People
on your views on on immigration, that's enough for someone to deem you a racist. Like it's stupid, really.
like and like what? I'm racist against everybody because there's immigrants that come from everywhere. So I'm just racist against the world.
And if we want to talk numbers, I mean, based on demographics at least, you see from like immigration and customs enforcement, and there's like different law enforcement agencies. If you really want to talk race and numbers, it's Asian people, like people of Asian descent that are here illegally the most. I mean, if they want to talk, if you want to talk race and numbers, that's the majority is actually people of Asian descent. So even by that standard, you can't say, oh, it's anti-Hispanic.
But like I'm saying, well, back to what I was saying about arguments. To the easiest way to lose an argument is to start name calling or labeling. Because if you have to resort to like, oh, fuck you, and like nothing, you don't say anything productive, then you've lost. Like no matter what, even if you have the high ground, you lost. And then these people who try to come out here and censor these idiots, like oh, like these people that are trying to legitimize what's it called, pedophilia.
Oh, good lord!
Like oh, that's a sexuality. Like no,
No, that's a disorder.
but
Like
the problem is people are out here trying to censor them, and if you censor them, you just legitimize them, because then you make it seem like they have a legitimate argument against an argument for their case.
See, because that's
Now,
one
if
of
you just
those.
now the easiest way to win an argument, and if you know for a fact that these people are wrong, you let them say their stance, and you
Yeah.
just basically let them walk on stage in their underpants, like and make them embarrass themselves in front of everybody, and then it's just like, oh well, you see your argument's flawed, and you point out the flaws in the argument. You don't point out the flaws in the person. Because as soon as you start talking about character, you lost. If you start talking about them as a person, then you lost. It doesn't matter. Even if your argument's right. Like, if I start arguing with Vincent saying 2 plus 2 equals 4, and Vincent says 2 plus 2 equals 5, as soon as I start saying, oh, well, you're a fucking idiot, I've lost. I've lost that argument. Now, I'm right in saying that 2 plus 2 equals 4.
Is that because I'm from the South?
Are,
are we less educated?
please.
I'm kidding.
But I'm right. Of course, I'm right in saying that 2 plus 2 equals 4. But I've just lost that argument with someone who has a ridiculous claim, because I have exposed myself as not being able to argue and not being able to have a conversation. Like, I have conservative views, but don't confuse me with someone who's on the right,
Like a far
like a rightist.
Yeah.
Like there's rightists and there's conservatives and there's liberals and there's leftists. Like I can have a debate with a liberal all day, because it's just they're willing to have a debate, because the whole point of a debate is trying to show your perspective of whatever you're debating about, and trying to get them to be on your side, essentially. And if you just become a leftist, or if you become a rightist, and you just start name calling, or you start, oh, you're a snowflake, or oh, you're just a conservative, like you're just conservative murder, like that gets you nowhere. That's how you get nowhere fast. Like I said, as soon as you start bringing out names and labels, and you lost, and you look like an idiot, and you just legitimize their argument. So next time when you're arguing with somebody, don't resort to name calling. Make them resort to name calling. Just keep poking holes over and over again. And eventually, if you're in the right, eventually they're going to resort to that. They're going to resort to name calling. Oh, you're an idiot. Like with abortion, like people argue about abortion all the time, and it's like,
goodness.
Oh, like people like
rightists. Tell that story from college.
Like rightists will be like, oh, you're a baby killer. Well, there you go. There's a label, and they've already lost. Like I'm not even for abortion, and that's still a loss. You can't just come out and say, oh, you're a baby killer, because you lose the argument. You lose your you lose your you lose your validation. Now, if you come out there and give your perspective and you say, "Oh well, um, like it's a like it's a life. Like you can't just kill it just because you don't think it's a life. Like when does it become a life?" And you poke holes in the argument, or vice versa, and saying, like, well, I obviously I'm not going to argue. I can't play devil's advocate because I'm not. I truly
Well,
and
like
firmly.
because like just from what I've heard, the counter argument would be like, "Oh, it's just a clump of cells." Like, well, so were you at one point, and it's just like, yeah, and just like you were saying, at what point is a life a life? Like, I think it's always a life, always has been, and
Exactly.
it's just yeah,
But that's the thing. I'm not gonna if I come out there, it's back to that same thing that I was saying. If I come out there and say
just yeah,
if I come out there and say you're an idiot for thinking 2 + 2 = 5,
mm-hmm.
then I've already lost. I've already lost the argument because I'm already resorting to name calling, and it's failed. The whole thing has failed. Even though I'm right, and I'm not saying like, oh, I'm right. I'm right in saying that abortion is wrong. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm just talking about arguments in general. Now,
Oh,
um,
that one seemed kind of close.
that was inside.
Really? I was
Yeah,
outside. That definitely sounded like it was outside.
sounded like it was right in here.
Oh,
Okay,
all right.
but like, it's so easy. Like, I'm talking right now. I'm talking to like, if you're arguing political, I'm talking to the liberals and the conservatives. I'm not talking to the rightists and the leftists. Because the rightists and the leftists are the people who are just going to be like, "Oh, well, you're a fucking idiot. You're an idiot snowflake," or "Oh, you're just a rampage. Like you don't even know what to do with yourself. You support Donald Trump."
Because those are those people that are like that. They talk so much with knowing very little.
Yeah,
It's just like a
it's
lot of
like, "Oh, I
noise.
know like 2 things, so I'm just gonna harp on those, and that validates me." Like, no, that's not how this works. Like, you need to know what you're talking about before you get into it, and that's some of the worst things. Like arguing with people. Like it's so easy. Like once you know that all you have to do is embarrass them, and if you know you're in the right, and you just stay in the right, then it's so easy to embarrass them, and they'll break down. Like if you're a leftist arguing with if you're a liberal arguing with a leftist, I mean a rightist, it's so easy to make a rightist look stupid. Just like it's so easy to make a leftist look stupid. Like they don't know what they're talking about. Like as soon as you start pulling out your facts that you know, then they don't know what they're talking about. They're like, oh, what? Like it's it's ridiculous. Like how easy it is to poke holes in people's arguments, and people don't do it. Like I just don't understand that. And then another point is where rightists and leftists will think that liberals and conservatives, like obviously, like the opposing side to right and left, to opposing to the respective sides, will think that they agree with everything their representative agrees with, and that's not necessarily true. Like, I'm a conservative, but Donald Trump isn't a conservative.
It's
Like,
not even a politician.
he's not even a politician. And then it's so dumb because leftists will come around and say, "Oh, well, you're a conservative, so you agree with everything Donald Trump says." Like, Donald Trump is not a conservative, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, plain and simple.
Like,
He may have ran
like,
under the Republican
yeah,
Party, but
he may
that
run
was
under the Republican
the
Party,
only
but
reason he
he's
did that
not.
was so he could have a shot at winning. That was
Yeah,
it.
and then of course I've even talked to liberals who don't agree with everything that Hillary Clinton does, and you don't have to. Like, you don't have to agree with everything your politician says. Like, it's okay to be like, "Oh yeah, like I don't agree with that." Like, let me think something
Like,
for example.
but what I was gonna say, like what I was thinking, like about Donald Trump, people would say, "Oh, only racists vote for a guy like that." Like that's what people generally said during the election. So like they would say that, but then I went to Ammo Brothers, I was talking to my dad and I were talking to this veteran, and he was just talking about how why he was voting for Trump. Just talking about all the things he had seen in Afghanistan, and just under the different administrations while he was serving in the military, like how things were different, how things changed between each president. Um, well, one of the things he was saying is like with Obamacare, he wasn't able to go to his doctor anymore. He had to go to a veterans hospital, and he was saying how poorly run these government hospitals were. There'd like be people like there was one guy he was sitting next to who was like falling in and out of consciousness because he needed help, but no one was helping him. They said everyone was like walking around really slow with the paperwork and stuff like that. He said that's why he wanted to vote for Donald Trump. He wanted to change. So it's like, how could you look at someone like that? Like, look at people who basically, like, kind of been hamstringed by the government and, like, kind of, for lack of a better term, cheated, like, out of what they were promised. And how can you look at them and say, oh, you're a racist because you're voting for Donald Trump? It's like, it's so much deeper than that. And I really feel like that's something that no one really ever paid attention to.
I mean, it's just what I'm trying to think of the word for it. It's like, hold on a second. It's one of those things where it's just like I've been trying to think of an example of what I was saying earlier. Right, you don't have to agree with everything your politician says. Like,
Yeah.
Like, just because they represent your party doesn't mean you have to agree with everything.
Uh-huh.
Like, if you don't, I don't agree with how Donald Trump wants to just, like, bullshit tweet everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's just dumb. Like, president shouldn't be wasting his time on Twitter. Like, it's cool getting updates, but when he's just tweeting bullshit, it's just like, okay.
Yes, yeah.
Like, get off Twitter.
It's like you're the president. Surely you could find something more important to do.
Yeah, you can be a little more productive than being on Twitter. It's perfectly fine for me to be like, yeah, that's dumb. And just remember that when you're in arguments, like if there's something
Josh, that makes you a liberal.
that doesn't matter. That's the thing. It's like that's okay.
It's yeah.
Like it's politics should just be what you should be voting for someone because they give you what you want.
Yeah.
That's it. If Hillary was going to give you what you wanted, then go vote for her. If Trump was going to give you what you wanted, then congrats, you voted for him. Like, there's no reason to just be like, oh, you voted for this person? Unbelievable. Like, come on. Like, there's no reason.
Yeah.
There's no reason to hate on someone just because they voted for somebody. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, you voted for so-and-so? Terrible. You're a garbage human being. Like, that's just ridiculous. Alright, any closing thoughts, Saxon?
Shoot. Now you got me thinking about stuff. I'm thinking about gun control. That's definitely going to have to be for another time.
We are going to have to do that for another time. We're already an hour.
Okay. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I mean, we had a good time.
Yeah, this is our first little kind of podcast thing that we've done. Trying to get this uploaded pretty quickly.
Maybe we'll do one of these live sometime.
Yeah,
that'd be
nice.
Cool. That'd be cool.
And it'll probably be a lot longer too.
Comment, maybe. Ask questions about our opinions on certain things.
Yep. Any closing thoughts?
I want to try to get up more more game compilations. So I want to try and get some of those cut and get some of them up by like next week. So that's what I'm going to try to shoot for. So that's pretty much it with me. About you, Ajax? Anything else?
No, I think that's it. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, just be sure to look out for that Yosemite video.
Oh yeah,
coming real soon.
I'm gonna try to put this up. What's today's date?
Today's the 8th.
Today's the 8th. I'm gonna see if I can't edit this right now and put it up today before we leave. Like, or before I lose service, basically.
Do you need to edit it all?
Well, no, I need to put something behind it. I need to be able to post it to YouTube.
Okay.
But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this hour of us talking about random bullshit. Hope you guys don't get mad at us for our views. Like, we won't get mad at you. Leave some responses down in the comments, and we'll always read our comments. And if you comment down in this video below. We will respond in the next little podcast that we do. And we're probably going to do maybe, I don't know, how many you want to do? You want to do 2 or 3?
Actual like sit down podcast
this week.
Over this week. I'm sure we could at least do like 2 or 3 more.
Yeah.
In addition, like the video we're gonna have already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
We're gonna try to do 2 or 3 more of these, maybe with some guests of Saxon's family, if they're into it. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I sincerely hope you enjoyed this. I had a good time talking. I'm pretty sure Saxon had a good time talking.
That was all right.
It was all right.
that was a good time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. In the spirit of Larry Berry, keep it sweet, and we'll see you around.